Hi, I'm Scott. This is a video that's part of a 4-part series that I'm doing for my section hike along the Appalachian Trail from Troutville, Virginia, all the way up to Rockfish Gap, Virginia. This is at the southern entrance of the Shenandoah National Park. My total section hike is 133 miles. This video is part of a series of videos I have produced that's documenting my section hiking along the Appalachian Trail, all the way from Georgia up to Maine. This is part 1 of my 4-part series documenting my 133-mile backcountry hike along the Appalachian Trail from Troutville, Virginia up to Rockfish Gap, Virginia. As far as section hiking goes, this would be considered the 9th section going from north to south along the Appalachian Trail. Originally, Larry and I were scheduled to do this hike in September 2018, but a hurricane approached the Atlantic coast, so they shut down the Appalachian Trail along the Blue Ridge Parkway. Larry and I rescheduled this for May 2019. So when May 2019 came along, I had some major health issues which wouldn't allow me to go hiking. So we had to reschedule to September 2019. And this trip, Larry and I actually made it to the trailhead. On Thursday, September 12th at 2 p.m., Larry and I left Shepherdsville, Kentucky, and we drove to 7.5 hours to Waynesboro, Virginia, where we stayed the night at Stanimals Hostel. The next morning, Friday the 13th, we left Stanimals Hostel, got us some breakfast at Hardee's, and drove up to Rockfish Gap, where I left my vehicle at the abandoned Howard Johnson's parking lot. Our shuttle driver met us there at 7:30, and then we started the hour and 15-minute drive down to Troutville, Virginia. As it could only happen on Friday the 13th, we met our first trail angel before we even got to the trail, a Virginia Department of Transportation driver named Janice. We had a blowout in our BMW on the way to the trailhead, but more on that later in this video. All right, let's see how we did.
Getting to the trailhead from Shepherdsville, Kentucky to Waynesboro, Virginia is pretty straightforward. You hop on I-64 and you go east all the way to Waynesboro. You'll hook up with I-81, takes you right into Waynesboro. Stanimals Hospital is located off Main Street. This is the second time I've been there. I went there in September 2018, but we had to move further up the trail because a hurricane came in and the shuttle drivers wouldn't take us down to the AT because the Blue Ridge Parkway was closed. All this information about hostels and shuttle drivers that can be found in AWOL's The AT Guide. I highly recommend you pick up this book if you want to do any kind of section hiking along the Appalachian Trail. Stanimals Hostel in Waynesboro is a short 10-minute drive away from Rockfish Gap and the southern entrance of the Shenandoah National Park, in the abandoned Howard Johnson's where I left my car for the 8 days. Initially, that big parking lot of that abandoned hotel and abandoned restaurant, it looks kind of sketchy, but it's been a favorite place for hikers to leave their cars as they do day hikes, week hikes, section hikes. So you'd be alright. I left my car there for 8 days and I didn't have any problems when I returned to it. With the parking lot being located at the southern entrance of the Shenandoah National Park, it's a really popular place where people leave their vehicles when they do any kind of hiking, either into Shenandoah National Park or going south from Shenandoah National Park. At 7:30 a.m., our shuttle driver, he met us at the Howard Johnson's parking lot. We put our gear in his car, we jumped in his car, and we headed south along I-81 for an hour and 15 minutes down to Troutville, Virginia. It was Friday the 13th, and as luck would have it, Friday the 13th struck us. As we're going down I-81, we had a blowout in the shuttle car. It goes boom, and then there's pieces of the tire flying all over the place, and the back end started wiggling, so we had to pull over. The shuttle car belonged to Stanimals Hostel. The shuttle driver was just a driver, so it wasn't his car, so he didn't know how to change his tire on this BMW. Larry hopped into action. He figured it all out. He was laying on the ground along I-81, changing the tire out. As I went down to try to move all the trucks over to the right, away from the lane that Larry was trying to change the tire in. Well, Larry got it all done, only to find out that the spare tire was flat. It had no air. Now we were in a bind. Jamie, our shuttle driver, did arrange for another vehicle to come get us, but fortunately, as I was waving all the semi-trucks away from us, a Virginia Department of Transportation vehicle saw me out there. The driver ended up turning around and came back to help us. This was Janice. She ended up having all the equipment on her truck, including an air compressor. The only catch was she couldn't get her vehicle next to ours, so Larry had to take the spare tire off the car, bring it back to the VDOT vehicle, and we used the air compressor to pump it up. Fortunately, the spare tire did hold air. Thanks to Janice, we were able to get back on our journey with only a 30-minute delay. The cost for the shuttle from Rockfish Gap to Troutville was about $100. And we didn't give Jamie a tip on that because Larry had to change the spare tire. But Jamie was instrumental on helping us complete this section hike. We would meet him again in Glasgow, where he would shuttle us around.
We just got on the trail here at Troutville. We went up a hill for 8 minutes, and we're coming into one of the pastures, cow pastures in Virginia that you get to cross, which is nice, something different. Fortunately for us, it's cloudy, a little foggy, so the sun's not blazing down. All right, on our first of 133 miles on this trip. All right, here we are. We just got done hiking, I don't know, 6-7 miles. And we're drinking, stopping for water. We're cameling up. We're gonna drink a liter apiece and then get more water. Here's our water. This is a creek. We have not seen a stream. Okay. We haven't seen any water today. And this stream is so low, all of the fishies are here. So hopefully you can see, this is where we're getting our water supply from, where these fishes swim. This is it.
And they're intrigued by our water.
Yeah, and they come up to us. They're not too afraid of us. But we get our water from right there. From right there. I'll scoop it and fill it up, and then we'll filter it. Lovely.
Can't take an hour for lunch though today.
All right, we're getting water for the first time today. We've been hiking about 3.5 hours. This is the first time we've seen water. And there's Larry just scooping it up. The flow is so slow that we can't fill it up on the flow, so we're scooping water into the bags and then filter them. And here's all the little tadpole fishies in here in this little shallow pool of water that we're getting our water supply from. We're taking it from them. So we feel fortunate, it's in mid-September, that in the middle of this drought we found some water. All right, moving on for our lunch later on. All right, it's Friday the 13th. It's day one of our hike. We're about 13 miles into it out of 17 and a half. It's windy, so the sound might not come out on this video, but we're coming out of the AT. It goes across the Blue Ridge Parkway, and we're gonna go to an overlook called the Taylor Mountain Overlook. So right there I'm crossing Blue Ridge Parkway. Yay, I didn't get run over. And we're coming up to this overlook. So this is, I'm giving you from the vantage point of what it's like when we're hiking, how we come up to some of this stuff. You see it in the woods as you come down the trail. And we've been cloudy all day, which has been nice because it keeps the sun off. We're in the middle of a drought. There's no water out there. I've been carrying 6 pounds of water for about 4 hours because we're not going to have water at camp tonight. It's going to be a dry camp. But this is our view, the Taylor Mountain Overlook. Woo! It's pretty dang on good. I know that wind's horrible right now, but that view's spectacular. on to the next overlook. All right, we're coming up to our second overlook on the Blue Ridge Parkway. This is the Montvale overlook. Once again, it's really windy out here, so hopefully my voice comes through. And let's see what we get. We're just coming right off the AT. There's a sign if you were going to go southbound. We're going northbound. So we come up, and here's the view. As you can see, there's the clouds, so we've been in cloud cover all day, which has been nice. It keeps the temperature down. Once again, we're in a drought, so there's no water. Man, that's gorgeous. Those pasture farmlands in Shenandoah Valley. All right, back on the AT. Gonna finish up 17.5 mile day. Later. All right, we're gonna finish up a 17.5 mile day, head back down the Appalachian Trail. This is the pull off on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Blue Ridge Parkway's right there. AT goes right up through those trees. Oh look, we got our own signage. That's nice. Talks about the AT. Whoops, stepped over something, tripped. Stop the film and read that if you want to. And then signage here about the overlook. Oh, that's Goose Creek Valley, not Shenandoah Valley, my bad. All right, here we go. Up into the AT. There's Larry finishing his video photography. We're heading to the AT up on the trail right there. Later. All right, we're just off of the Blue Ridge Parkway at the Harvey Knob Overlook. Another beautiful sight. A lot of pull-offs on the Blue Ridge Parkway. A lot of views of the valleys. Very nice out here. All right. Got to get back on the AT, hop in the woods, get to the shelter. Later. All right, it's a morning of the second day, Saturday, September 14th. Been hiking for about a half an hour. Slept okay last night. There was no air movement, so it was a little warm. Feel pretty good. With right now we got the breeze, the fog with the moisture dropping off the trees feels good. Story of the week, still moisture, water. There's no water anywhere. All right, later we'll catch you a little bit farther down the trail if there's anything to report on. All right, Saturday. All right, it's Saturday, September 14th. Second day of the hike. We did 17.5 yesterday, the first day. Got started around 10 after 9. Finished up at 6:15. Right now we're hiking in a fog and there's a breeze, so it feels really nice outside. I got a short sleeve shirt on. It feels great. That breeze. Camped pretty good, slept good, but we had no breeze. So try our luck today. You know, the story of the week is going to be water. They're in a drought, so there's no water. The springs are dried up. I don't know. I'm carrying 3 liters with me out of camp today, and the first water source is mile 12, which is 5.5 to 6 hours away. And we're hoping, we're crossing our fingers that there's water there. It's not 100% for sure. So, and then the next one is at camp. So we're planning to do 18.5 miles today. So we'll see what we get at camp. Last night was a box spring that wasn't flowing, and we had to scoop the water out of it with the little big cups that we create with the end of a plastic bottle. And we got each got 2 liters out of that box spring, which was okay. It did the job. So, all right, later. While you do that, I'll see if I can pull it up. All right, we're crossing BRP, Blue Ridge Parkway. We're on the Appalachian Trail. It crosses it several times. I mentioned it yesterday. So it's Saturday the 14th. And we're gonna have one of these famous overlooks. There's the overlook road. There's the AT trail on that little post. One of these famous overlooks along the Blue Ridge Parkway. So, oh, we only got our special little sign here for Appalachian Trail people. Oh yeah, Maine to Georgia. We're getting there. We're going. We stayed at, by the way, we stayed at Bobblet's Gap last night. In tent sites. There's two nice ones. We stayed at one of them. They call it stealth camping. So this is the Peaks of Otter. You know, you can pause the video and read that if you want. Peaks of Otter, but there's our view. So we're in the clouds this morning. A lot of fog, no views. All right, we're back on the AT, and it goes right there. All right, later. All right, we're AT follows the BRP for quite some ways on this section, at least for yesterday today. We're coming up to another view. We're crossing Blue Ridge Parkway. Lots of fog, no cars, and let's see if we get us a view. But I know what the answer is. Let's see, where are we at? We're at Mills Gap. Sorry. James River below. We're heading toward there tomorrow night. But there's our view. $1 million view. It's $999,000 short. Coming from over there, you guys can't see this, but the wind is blowing the fog right over us. I doubt if it's picking it up in the video, but it's pretty cool. It's comfortable right now with that breeze and the moisture. All right, later. We're heading out on the AT, and it is right there. All right, we're here at a shelter. I forget the name of the shelter, so it's called a random shelter on the AT in Virginia. In a shelter area, a lot of times you'll have a privy, water, tent spots. So if you look around, there's tent spots here, and there's tent spots over here. This is a nice shelter area. A lot of tent spots, and oh, there's the privy. Right there's the privy, and there'll be water. I'm not sure where the water is here. So, but you'll look up when you put your tent because you don't want to get a tree limb fall on you. You don't want like a widowmaker fall on you and hurt you. So, you know, here's all these tent spots. You also want to look up because every now and then you might find a hornet's nest right above where you put your tent. So here's a really nice tent spot right here, and there's a hornet's nest right there. So be careful where you set your tents up is the moral of the story. All right, later. All right, I'm at the privy of that shelter where it has a hornet's nest, and snakes are one thing, spiders are another thing. So you come right here to the privy, and I don't know if you know how big a wolf spider is, but here's a wolf spider dropped right out as you open the door. It will make you jump. So I'm gonna try and do this without it getting me. Put my foot up next to it to give you some semblance of size. So there's my toe, and there's the spider. That son of a bitch is big. Whew. So here's the spider. There's my toe. So that sucker is huge. Huge, I tell you. But don't like spiders. Definitely don't like wolf spiders. All right, here's just a video clip of my new tent system I'm trying out. This section hike, it's just a cheap Chinese import. 2-person tent. I think I paid like $125 for it. We had a thunderstorm roll through here last night for about an hour. It held up no problem. It lets me get everything in, all of my equipment in and sealed in bags and in, so there's no stench or anything. It's a trekking pole tent, so each side is held up by my trekking pole, so I don't have to carry extra poles for the tent setup. So it's lighter. My old tent setup was 3.5 pounds, and this is about 2 pounds. So it takes 8 stakes to hold it up. But I've slept in it 2 nights now and everything's good. It's got a lot more ventilation. It's got these 4 doors. You know, so far the only problem with it being cheap is the floor is definitely thin. I had some roots last night they had to deal with. I didn't bring a flooring for it. I'd bring a Tyvek thing if I had it to do over again this section hike. So that's my new tent for this section. We'll see how it goes. That's my 2nd night in it. I've got a schedule of 7 nights. Later. All right, that wraps up part 1 of the 4-part video series I have on YouTube that's documenting my 133-mile hike along the Appalachian Trail from Troutville, Virginia up to Rockfish Gap, Virginia. I tell you what, the weather sure was hot and the humidity was there and the climbs were there. Everything was there but water. There's no water. It was a drought. It had rain in weeks. All the springs were dried up. So that made it really difficult. The drama of this section hike continues in part 2 of this 4-part video series. Be sure to check that out on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on that subscribe button below on the play pause button. And don't forget to click on the bell to get notifications when I add content to my YouTube channel. If you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you dislike this video for some reason, click the thumbs down. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video. And remember, go out there and hike the Appalachian Trail, the AT